But right as I'm getting ready to make that turn, I look over and I see 4 legs and a giant torso. And it's bow season, so in that county, I can shoot anything at that, essentially. Like, it's fair game. So I've got my bow, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through my draw, and I get a little, I grunt a little bit, and I hear a squeal, and the ears slam up. The brushes in front of me started exploding. I blacked out and ran apparently like 60 yards. I regained consciousness with my bow still in my hand, my arrow still knocked, and my pistol in the other hand. And it wasn't until I got back to my truck that I checked that I had 1 round missing, and I was like, crap, man. Like, I was terrified. I'm not gonna lie, that was actually one of the scariest experiences I've had, because that thing came out of nowhere.
Welcome to the next episode of the Huntxp podcast, and we're particularly stoked for this one because we have a random fan of the pod as the guest tonight. I don't know if you caught this a few weeks back, but Johnny and I did some shout outs as we like to do, and we did a shout out for Aggressively Average Outdoors, which still, as I say that, Johnny, it's the best handle. Are you stoked for this? Are you excited for this, man?
Yes, I am absolutely pumped. The greatest handle, maybe of all time. And also just the fact that, like, hey, this is kind of on brand with what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow a community. Why not have someone who has joined our community who's kind of along for the adventure on the podcast? So we'll see where it goes.
Totally, man. I'm stoked for this. Like, I hope you can hear it in my voice. This is like part of what Johnny and I kind of dreamed for Huntxp coming true through this episode. You know, there's plenty of podcasts out there, and we certainly have recorded them with experts like John Eberhardt and those other things who put in a ton of time. But XP is just not for the exceptional. It's for everyone. And I'm excited to have this conversation with Aggressively Average Outdoors. His name is Nate. Seems like a super cool dude. We've been texting a little bit, and it's just cool to create this opportunity. And we hope that the community grows, and hopefully through this conversation and conversations to come, we can level up each other's hunting game.
I'm gonna say this because you said XP is not just for the elite. Maybe it is just for the aggressively average.
It's just for the aggressively average.
We were meant to find this guy.
Meant to find him. Dude, I'm sure we're going to have a riot talking to him. We really appreciate connecting with you too. So I hope what you receive from this just happening is that we're just some dudes in the Northland who love to hunt and talk about hunting and care about building community. We think hunting is better because of it. So,
did you know that you can use AI to become a better hunter? Here's what you got to do. Our team at Huntxp has built a custom AI. We call it Crockett. And it is the combination of the power of AI and the collective wisdom of hunters for many years mashed up together and put right in your pocket, right in the field where you can level up your hunting game. You can ask it things like, what's the best broadhead setup for my situation? What's the best day to hunt this week? All sorts of questions. You can take pictures of the snake you almost stepped on in South Dakota and say, is this a rattlesnake? That's something that actually happened to us. It's super fun. Our community's having a great time building this. We'd love for you to join in at huntxp.com. Join us.
Johnny and I like to just catch up, see how things are going. Tonight, Johnny, I have more surprises for you if you're up for them.
I am up for it.
Oh, you're always up for it. And then I would love to hear about your turkey season. I know it's not as awesome as you want it to be, but I'm sure there's some XP that you're pulling from it.
It was still really awesome. I had a ton of fun. We'll catch up on it. But yeah, show me these surprises.
We'll get into it.
Give me the surprises.
I have 2, I think. Maybe more. I don't know. The first one is from the Burley company. If you've not heard of these guys, they're pretty awesome. Find them on Instagram, and you can tell if you're a turkey hunter by what I'm holding, what they do. Check this out.
No way.
Isn't that tight, dude?
That is actually really cool. You know how I built the M2 turkey vest for us? There's a spot for that right in there. There's a spot right there.
True facts or confessions. I don't use a Slate call, but I want to learn how. So I've been in the market for a Slate call, and Burley Co. just reached out to us on Instagram. He's like, hey, could we ever collaborate on anything? I'm like, sure, dude. Put Huntxp on it, and I'll learn how to use a pot call. So this has got this walnut, but here's the true surprise. I said I'd had more surprises. Check this out. Read that. Can you read that?
I cannot read it.
Okay.
No.
It says, It says, never half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing.
Yeah. And I've heard that, and I love that. That is up there with the best sayings ever.
From our man, from community, Ron Swanson. I was like, I just was like shot in the dark. Can you put that on the back of the call? So I'm just going to remember the Ron Swanson influence of the Huntxp podcast whenever I'm just, sweet talking old gobbler in the woods. I got to scratch that up. He said it was sandpaper. I'm going to, see what kind of noises I can make. Next week is my season. I'm stoked. You can't see it, but I have my bags packed right here. I'm ready to rock.
That's awesome.
I leave Tuesday. Yeah. Thank you, Burley Co. Aaron, I think is his name, from Burley Co. Super awesome dude. They make really cool products. It would be an amazing gift for a turkey hunter in your life, or not a gift, just something that you can make. And we could probably hook you up with a Huntxp pot call if you want. Aaron and I can keep collaborating. We can hook you up with that if that's something you want. Or you can customize it in your own way and put whatever Ron Swanson quote on the back that you so desire. Pretty sick, huh?
I know. I would like one of those at some point.
It's like, excuse me? Why did they only send one? Well, this can be the Huntxp pot call, and maybe it can just live with the M2. We'll see.
That sounds good.
I don't have one yet, though, so that was kind of like, I'm going to do that. So that was pretty sweet, but this, I got to say, I'm just as, if not, okay, I'm even more stoked for this one. I think you know what's coming here. This was a big one for us.
Oh, yes.
Check it out, dude.
Yes.
This is from Stoger. This is a Stoger 3500. True confessions, again, have been using a buddy's shotgun during the many turkey seasons I've done. And it was kind of one of those things where I borrowed it, kept borrowing it, and he never asked for it back, and no one said anything. But he asked for it back this last season. I'm like, it's time. So here we go. So I reached out to Stoger and I said, hey, could we do something fun? And then they're like, yes, that would be awesome. And I said, I really wanted to try these 3500s. My brother runs a 3000. I just think these are the best workhorse. I mean, you may disagree, Johnny. I know you like yours. But if you're just looking, these are like so great workhorse semi-automatics. I've only kind of shot pumps before. Pumps are great. They're awesome for turkey season. You really should only need one shot, but unless you're me, multiple shots sometimes. But I wanted a semi-auto that was kind of like a workhorse semi-auto that had the reputation of running a ton of rounds through it, super simple to clean. What I love about Stoger is they're in the Benelli family, so they have a lot of the same Benelli features. And my brother has been running the 3000, Travis, who's been on this pod a couple times, for a lot of years and never had a jam. And he cleans it regularly, but he just swears by his Stoger. So I'm going to try this out. I'm super stoked for it. And I went with this black model, as you can see, so I could Huntxp it up. And GunSkins, our friends from GunSkin, hooked us up. They said, hey, we want in on that project. So they sent us this GunSkin. Johnny's got a GunSkin that I think they sent him that he's going to do one of his guns on. Oh, you got it?
I got it sitting right here, and we're doing Wesley's.
There it is.
20 gauge with it. That's what we're going to do.
There we go. Sweet. So if I flip the gun over here, got the Huntxp on there.
Gosh.
Sweet. So
Yeah.
if you're looking at this, hop on YouTube if you're just listening because it looks pretty awesome. The skin covers the whole gun, but I was like, hey, I want to try this two-tone on here, and I just love how this looks with the black and the tiger camo like that.
It looks great.
And I've got the rest of the kit if I want to do it. I've got a Vortex red dot up here for turkey. And the awesome thing about this is for deer season, I wanted a gun that I could do waterfowl, shoot slugs out of it for deer. I shot a deer with a slug last year, just out of an 870 that a friend was letting me use. But this, I can shoot with this whole red dot setup, because most of my scenarios are only like within 60 yards that I'm shooting. This will do the trick. First Stoger has a barrel that you can add onto this for less than a dedicated slug gun that shoots not probably as well, but almost as well, and you can just swap out the barrels. So I'm stoked for it, dude. And this GunSkin, man, turned out super great. I think I did a pot shot job at it, and it still looks really good. I'm like a read the instructions once and then just go for it guy. But I think it looks good. One of the questions
it looks really good.
I don't know if you can see it, but so it has this grip. The grip is built in, and I wondered putting the vinyl over if I would lose that grip. But it's so tight, like it's so adaptable, or it's so malleable when you put the heat on it that you get the grip that was already there still. I thought, I'm just going to cover all this grip with vinyl, but it's still there, man. It's awesome.
That's great.
I mean, it is covered, but it still has the functionality of it. So
yeah, fantastic use of the word malleable also.
Thanks, dude. I get a little verbose if you haven't noticed that. Because I'm dyslexic, really suck at Scrabble, even though I feel like I have a very decent vocabulary. I can't spell any of the words that I say, but I can hopefully use them somewhat accurately.
Yes. Dude, that is awesome.
Those are my surprises, dude. What do you
gun
think?
looks super slick. I am excited to see it in person. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. This just looks cool. The black, the black is just such a blank canvas with a gun. Like, you can go the camo patterns, but I just like the idea of being able to. The sweet thing about these GunSkins too is you can take them off and there's like no residue, and just try another one. And so it's like kind of new camo every season if you want it.
No, that's really cool.
Of course, got the Carlson turkey choke ready to rock in there too. Dude, I'm fired up for next week. Yeah, man. Well, speaking of turkey season,
yes,
you just concluded the 2025 season.
Oh,
give us the recap, man. How was it?
I will say this too. I might buy a leftover tag. There's still some I checked the other day for a unit down south. I might do that for the 5th season. So it might not be over just yet. But let's talk about the season I just had. So we are in a transition period. We are building a new house. And so on the same property where our house currently is. And I'm going to start by saying I was not at my house, which I normally am, to keep tabs on the turkeys by my house. So every morning at that house, I would go out on my deck. I would listen to them gobble. I'd figure out where they were. And I didn't have that advantage this season. But I got on turkeys every single day that I hunted. And I could have shot 2 of them and elected not to because I was trying to capture it on video, because that's kind of what we're trying to do now.
Dude, I have ruined it. Yeah. Yeah. You're like, I got one camera rolling, forget about it.
Yep, and even if no camera was rolling, that deer was going to die. But with turkeys, I was, I've shot quite a few, and it's whatever. You can always get it. It's like, if you don't get that one, just get on another one. Or try to.
Yeah.
So there was, every day I was on them. I think it was the day after you and I sat together, which was really fun. We were
super fun.
Yeah. We were in the bubble. The turkey just had another idea. And that afternoon, there was one going crazy. I could hear him by my parents' house going nuts. And I put the moves on. I walked back to where I thought he was, and sure enough, I was getting really close. I could tell, and he was moving off. And I never called because I was like, they just have seemed kind of like call shy almost, or they're all with hens, and it seems like the hens take them away.
Yeah.
At least they were last week. I was just kind of following, like listening, and then I would move, listen, then move, and he kept gobbling. And then I heard there was some jakes there. I could hear them, but I got out in front of where I thought they were going to be, and this is the rookie mistake. This is the XP, right? I got to where I thought they were going to be, and I sat up against a tree and got my gun ready, but I did not get the camera ready, and I cut like twice, and he hammered back from like 20 yards away.
Mm.
And then I'm like, oh my gosh. So I get the gun up, and the camera's right next to me, not rolling. And sure enough, all of a sudden he walks out from behind these trees and peeks out, and I can see his head, and I got my bead right on him, and I'm like, camera's not rolling.
Shoot.
So I was like, well, I'm not going to make any noise. Maybe he's just going to kind of meander and try to figure out where I am. So he does. He starts moving around, and I get the camera set up, but he's a little bit too far. Or I can't see him. He's like moved off a little bit. So then I cut again, and he just goes nuts, but he won't come back now. And then I hear a hen, and then he's going off the other way. And I played cat and mouse with those birds. And the funny thing is, like, I got in on the hen, I got in on the jakes, but I could not get in on him again after that. He was always just out of sight, just out of range, and they were moving, so there wasn't much I could do. Yeah, I feel like I was on a bird every single day, had a legit shot. Definitely could have shot two of them, but camera wasn't rolling, so I didn't.
Man, we got that to contend with now. Well, dude, that's still a fun story, though. Yeah, like you said, a little bit different than a mature buck, but yeah.
It was great. And then I actually went to, I think it was Monday morning, the same spot you and I sat, because I went outside and I heard him in the tree, and presumably same tree or same area. And I had about 30 minutes before I had to leave for work, and I just sprinted over there. And I saw him like 4 times, but never close enough. And here's another mistake, I feel like, or what I should have done different. I knew, that little ravine we were talking about, where behind, right next to the roost, I could tell he was down in it, but I was too scared to like run up and get too close. But I know if I actually kind of stopped right where you and I were, just a little bit in the woods. And if I would have pressed another 20 yards and then called, he came right up out of that cut, and it was looking all over the place, but I was too far away, and he wouldn't come any closer. I didn't have a decoy, trying to get him to come in, but he just wouldn't do it. So another close call, but
we talk about it a lot, and we make it kind of sound like when we talk about all the success stories, and you kind of like think back all the turkeys we've shot, you could get the impression it's easy. It is not. Like, the wise old gobbler situation is a deal, and they're tricky birds, man. They're super, super hard, super challenging.
It's really interesting.
Did you have any thoughts on our hunt?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say this first. It can be very challenging. At the same time,
that's a good way to talk about it. Yeah,
it can be super easy. Sometimes it really can. Like if you've done your homework and the bird is fired up and ready and alone, like it can be easy. Like the last 2 years, boy, easy for me. Went out, I knew where the bird was probably going to come from, came in off the roost, ran right in, boom, like easy. But yeah, this year it was tough. And again, could have shot 2 birds, but didn't because the camera wasn't rolling. Our hunt, think we overcalled. I do. I think we got a little, like, I think we should have just shut up after a while and made him pitch down and come to us. Although, turns out, remember, there was a hen that was there too, so he might not have come to check us out anyway. Yeah. But I'm like, maybe we overdid it while he was in the tree, and maybe he just thought, well, you're going to come to me, so.
Yeah, I came away with just a couple wonderings, like, did we call a little bit? Because I actually listened back to our turkey podcast once it came out, and I was like,
yeah, me too.
Shoot,
Yeah,
like
same.
we were talking different. It's like when you're in the field, some of that knowledge, like we probably could have called a little less, but I don't know. You weren't. Oh, look, thumbs up. I probably could have called. I should probably turn those reaction off, and unless it's there we go. Turn that off. We probably could have called a little bit less. Yes, and I wonder if we got up too early. Like I know he. Well, no, he was down on the ground, wasn't he? I forgot that.
Yeah, he got down. Yeah, he got down for sure.
But
if we would have sat tight a little longer, maybe.
Because part of what happened was we got up and we tried to kind of circle around, and then we heard a hen. And part of my thinking, rewinding that, was like, if we would have stayed put for like 10 more minutes, because we told so many stories of like shutting up once a bird's on the ground and then just sitting there in silence for 45 minutes sometimes. I was like, shoot, I don't know. We maybe should have given it a little bit more time. And I wonder if that hen actually would have come through with the tom that we heard. But
yeah,
God, that's like, you just play. This is like the hunter's curse, right? You play
Right.
every single scenario through your head. And then also the other thing was the argument between Ben and Trav on how close is too close from our podcast was going through my mind. Because part of me was like, could we have set up a little bit closer to the roost? Could we have pushed it a little bit more? Or were we good just to hang back? So I think if they would have broken down that hunt, they probably would have come to different even opinions on that.
I think for the future, and I know birds have roosted there in the past, I think for the future, I know exactly where I would set up now, because I know you could get there clean, and you would be similar in distance, but you'd be right on a really good travel route. Like where I saw him the second time, where he went, we could have cut him off right there. But I do agree that I think if we would have sat tight a little bit longer, judging on what happened with that hen, I think she was just sneaking in the back door, and I think he would have followed her.
Yeah.
And I think we would have seen him, because where we heard the hen was not very far from where we were sitting. I think part of it was wicked cold sitting there. The wind was howling, and it was a cold morning.
It was pretty cold.
And it was easy to be like, let's just get up and move.
And you just like, there's the camera again. When you've got the camera guy with you, you're like, let's seal the deal. Let's do this. But yeah. Hey, lessons learned, XP gained for you. So the lessons are, maybe stay put, patience, which is kind of the age-old lesson, but we'd be telling a different story if we would have put that bird on the ground by making a move on him too. So
for sure.
Like you said, sometimes stupid easy, sometimes wicked hard. There's so many factors. Oh man, well, I'm stoked for next week. Hopefully I'll have some stories to come back with next episode on my turkey season in Wisconsin. I have not gotten out with archery yet either, so I'll kick that off too here when May comes around. So it's time though, Johnny. I think it's time for getting a little aggressively average. What do you think?
Let's get aggressively average. Yep.
Let's do it, man.
What's up, Huntxpeers? Quick request for you. Would you go ahead and rate our podcast on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this podcast? It is a huge help to our community that we're trying to grow. We want more and more people to have fun with us on this podcast, connect with us over on the website, start using Crockett, all these other things, but people don't know about it until the algorithm kind of starts to push it to people who it would be meaningful for. So you could help out with that. If you've been loving what we're up to, if you love this episode you're listening to, give us 5 stars if you could. It's a huge help to us. Spotify, whatever you're listening to us on, go ahead and rate it so more people can join the crazy train. Thanks.
Aggressively average outdoors. You are here, dude. Welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Dude, this is just so awesome for us. You can tell by the smile on Johnny's face.
Yes.
Because we've had some pretty sweet guests here, but this is a highlight, I think, because you turn audience to guest and you're part of the community. So right off the bat, like, you saw the clip that I posted, but what was your reaction to our reaction of your handle?
So one of my boys actually sent me the reel before you did. And he's like, bro, they just called you out. I was like, okay, like, I'll go watch this. I saw it and I was like, good gravy. That is hilarious. That was the best reaction. That's actually the reaction I was going for with that name.
Perfect. Nailed it. Well, tell us about the name, dude. We want to hear the story of how you came about. And you should probably tell us your real name unless you just want to continue to go under aggressively average, which is awesome.
No, it's cool. For us. No, my name's Nate. I go by Nate or Geo. I got the Geo name in the military. Aggressively average outdoors actually started as aggressively average shooting because all of my buddies, all prior military guys, we were really big into the shooting world, right? Grantham and all the big names, and we're just like, you know what? We've got toys, we've got money. Pre-COVID, let's just turn money into noise and go shoot things and record it and just see what happens. And we saw all of like the ego. We saw the gun industry ego. They're like, I'm super operator man 12, or like, I'm a great shooter. It's like, dude, I can shoot well, but I'm never gonna be an elitist, right? Like that's not me. I got a 9 to 5. I got other hobbies. I pick up hobbies left and right. I'm never going to be the best at something, but I can be aggressively average and still pretty good.
That's so good, dude. I love it.
I love that it actually has like a really solid meaning behind it, not just like a cool handle. I love that explanation. That's
There's
fantastic.
So much ego out there, man. And like I found in the archery community, it's not as bad though. People are like always trying to help you out and get you spun up, or like, hey, you're making this mistake. Don't watch me. I'm going to teach you how to do it and then correct your mistakes. I like that a lot. In the shooting industry, it's just like, look at this guy. He's doing stupid stuff. And it kind of just kills the vibe.
Yeah, man. So give us a little bit of your story, Nate. Like you gave us a little bit there, but your backstory, how you come to not only aggressively average outdoors, but you said you pick up hobbies left and right. So tell us a little bit about your world and what you're into these days.
So I'm an engineer. I work in cybersecurity, but I work in aerospace as well. I call it the TISM, right? It is probably the TISM. I find things and I want to know how they work. I want to know the ins and outs of them. So like I picked up archery 3 years ago when hunting public land here in Texas, we just got absolutely crushed on rifle and shotgun season. Just everybody taking it up. And we're like, you know what? We'll get an extra month out of it. We'll pick up archery. I've got from, January till October to get lethal. So picked it up, and then I started nerding out on it a lot more to the point where like arrow calculators and FOC and draw length and changing my draw length based on my release. And then I set a goal for myself. I started when I started archery, I was barely able to pull 50 pounds. Not a big dude. But after TAC, 2 weeks ago in Oklahoma, I put the last crank in my limbs and I'm at 70 pounds now. Unfortunately, I had to do a new build because my arrows were 338 grains, and that's not exactly hunt worthy, but they were going almost 300 feet per second. And so I nerd out on things like that. I try to min-max as much as I can when it comes to my hobbies. So like reloading, I try to min-max my bullets to make sure that I'm getting as close to the best group I can without me being the issue.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool, man.
So cool. Where do you live? Where are you based out of?
So we're out of North Texas, like Fort Worth area.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And so you mentioned whitetail hunting, I believe, but like what do you like to hunt? Is it primarily whitetail? Is it other things too?
So for the past few years, it's been primarily whitetail. My wife and I are planning on going out next weekend for turkey. I learned my neighbor gave me a turkey call, and I've been annoying everybody at work, just learning how to use the diaphragm at work. So we're going to go see what happens. I've never hunted turkey before. I know nothing about turkey hunting other than whisper sweet nothings and hope they come in.
Yeah,
and then grew up hunting dove and quail and mostly fishing out in Louisiana with my grandparents.
There you go. I know this podcast that just dropped 2 episodes of a deep dive on turkey hunting. If it interests you, dude, that's great.
I've already been watching it, man. Like I saw it and I was like, awesome. This is right up my alley because there's so many people putting out turkey content. Nobody's putting out like, hey, this is what you actually need. It's more like documentary style nowadays. So I like the video personally, or the videos.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. That's good. So what do you shoot for a bow? Can you give us your build? Like, what are you shooting these days? What do you got? I mean, you can show us.
It's there. It's in the back. I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's back there. I got a PSE Mach 30 DS. Again, 70 pounds. It's got that Bottomland camo on it. And that was my That was my reward for maxing out my. I had a mission switch by Matthews. I maxed it out to the point where I couldn't get any more performance out of it. I switched arrows, tried to eke as much out of it as I could. Yeah. I shot tack with that last year, and I was just like, I want more, because my arrows were, rainbowing. An 80-yard shot was near impossible with that thing without really getting technical with it. So I got that guy, and that one has been my absolute. I love that bow. I don't want another bow ever again. Like, that bow is incredible for me. The draw stability is there. The 85% let off is perfect. The draw cycle is what sold it. I mean, that bow's draw cycle. The EC2 cams are nuts.
Wow, dude.
And incredible speed.
Awesome. How many years have you been to the Total Archery Challenge?
This was my second year.
Second year? Cool. For those who haven't experienced that, what's that like?
TAC is hands down, one of the best experiences I could recommend to anybody. If you're brand new to archery, if you're not, go. The courses are challenging, but they're not necessarily challenging from a technical perspective. We typically train on flat ground, right? We go to the flat range, or if you've got a 3D course near you, go shoot 3D, but it's not the same as shooting on an island in a lake, because Broken Bow, Oklahoma, they've got an island there for the Sitka course. We shot that for the first time. I lost 3 arrows on that course, and that was very challenging. But not because of the shots. It was because your feet are on a downward angle, you're fighting your bubble the entire time, and the wind was destructive. So you're just taking a 90-yard shot or an 80-yard shot with everything working against you. And that's the challenge, right? You push yourself to your limits, you take ambitious shots, and you become aggressively average.
There you go. Love it, dude. Hey, you got this.
That's so great.
If I could, I'd give a big shout out to my wife on that one, because she hoofed the Sitka course with my 20-pound baby on her back.
Whoa.
The entire course. Like, she handed the baby off for like the last 6 targets, and that adds a whole new dynamic of shooting. Is I shot with the baby on my back, and I kept telling myself, like, if you ever want to go elk hunting, it's going to be worse. So like,
yeah. So I'm gathering a few things. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm gathering a few things, and I know there's a play on the name, but I don't necessarily think you're aggressively average. I think you're a little bit more than that. I wouldn't say average. I think aggressive, and I don't know what the right word is. I like that JD said exceptional, but like, dude, you're like doing the work. You're doing the homework. You're dialed in. You're like trying to make your experience the best as possible. That doesn't scream average to me.
Well, to be fair, I have some really great mentors. I have a neighbor who got me into archery in the first place. He's coached me through a lot of it. Fantastic dude. We hang out with him pretty much every weekend. And I don't know if you guys saw, but I made a little logo, and it says, not elite, but still pretty good. And that's kind of where I try to be, right? I want to be a jack of all trades, pretty good at some of them. So like, aggressively average just kind of rolls off the tongue.
I mean, yeah. I think for guys like us, guys like you, like, the reality is you said it, you have a 9-to-5, you have kids, like we have that too. And we're just doing our best. We can't commit our whole entire lives to this stuff, but we're trying. We're trying to do some fun stuff. So
absolutely,
kudos.
I spend as much time as I can outside, like when I'm not doing husband duties or yard work or father duties, outside, at least doing something to better myself. Hiking, we shoot 3D a lot, just a lot. Right before TAC, I went out and I broke the range rules, and I was shooting 120 yards behind. So like, the 100-yard range, you park your truck, and then I was like 10 feet behind my truck and just lobbing them. And they came by and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I'm just practicing. I'm trying to make sure I can hit 120. And I only brought one arrow with me that day. So I walked probably close to a mile, over 45 shots, because I'm just doing, back and forths.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to do everything I can to stay active and healthy, and also like recover from the military as well. Kind of broke my body a little bit. So I'm trying to build that stuff back up and become the man that I want to be, because I have a daughter now, and I'm trying to make sure that she knows that, one, dad's a cool dude, and also dad's not a lazy bum. That's kind of where I'm going with that.
I love it.
Great, dude. Talk to us a little bit about that, man. Now that you have a daughter, how has that shifted your mentality and shifted your perspective on the outdoors and the place that it has in your life?
Right off the bat, I didn't get to spend a lot of time hunting and fishing with my dad. My dad's still around, right? But my dad was also in the Marines. So we moved around a lot as a kid. I went to like 8 different schools before high school. And so while my dad grew up hunting and fishing, I grew up just fishing with my grandfather, fishing with my dad every now and then. And it wasn't until high school that I started to get to hunt. And my wife is a big hunter. She has a ladies only hunting group that she's a part of out here in Texas, and they get access to like crazy stuff. So it's huge in our family that one, she's going to have a love for the outdoors. And two, she's going to learn to hunt as soon as possible. Like I told the wife, as soon as she's able to hold a bow, she's getting a bow. Like that's where my brain goes, because it's important. I think also self-sufficiency is a big deal, right? Like you spend so much money at the grocery store, but I've got a freezer full of meat.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like I can go to the grocery store. It's called my garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Do you hunt hogs down there, or what's that like where you're at?
Let's say, how do I say this without embarrassing myself? So opening day of this past season, I had a herd of 15 to 20 hogs. There was 3 sow and then a bunch of little bacons. And I let them go. I passed on them because earlier in the morning, I had seen 2 fat doe, 2 mature, like gray doe following this herd of pigs as they moved just a little bit to the north of me. So I was like, you know what? It's opening day. I'm going to wait. I'm going to let these guys go. I have video of this fat sow just maybe 10 feet under my tree. Had no idea I was there. I was like, I should have just blooded the bow and got it done. But no, I don't get to hunt hogs as much as I'd like. I've been hunted by hogs.
Wow.
I got charged by a boar up at the LBJ grasslands probably halfway through bow season. My best friend was supposed to come out with me. He bitched out at the last second. He didn't show up. So I'm like, you know what? I'm here. I'm going. It's dark. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody's a little bit afraid of the dark, especially when you're walking into the woods. So I was like, you know what? We'll just sack up and go. I started walking down my trail. I get to my turn point. I've got this little pond. It's a watering hole, and you can tell it's ruddied up. Like, pigs go there. Deer go there. And that's my landmark to take my left turn to go down to what we call the back 9. And it's this really wonderful, like low ground cover, bunch of stick trees, perfect for saddle hunting. And it's right next to a couple big clearings. So it's a good transition area. There's a little ridge they have to come up. But right as I'm getting ready to make that turn, I look over and I see 4 legs and a giant torso. And it's bow season. So in that county, I can shoot anything at that, essentially. Like it's fair game. So I've got my bow, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through my draw, and I get a little, I grunt a little bit, and I hear a squeal, and the ears slam up. The brushes in front of me started exploding. I blacked out and ran apparently like 60 yards. I regained consciousness with my bow still in my hand, my arrow still knocked, and my pistol in the other hand. And it wasn't until I got back to my truck that I checked that I had 1 round missing, and I was like, crap, man. Like, I was terrified. I'm not gonna lie, that was actually one of the scariest experiences I've had, because that thing came out of nowhere.
Whoa. So you just like came back into consciousness sprinting with a bow knocked in your sidearm?
Dude, I think I went straight robot mode. Like, I went straight like survival. It was just like, I remember seeing the bushes move, my red light shined, I saw a little bit of his eyes, and it was just like, shit, let the bow down, go. And 60 yards later, I'm like, what just happened? Adrenaline dump. I got the shakes a little bit.
Yeah.
I carry that pistol with me now everywhere I go in the woods, but I also carry a hatchet that I will cut that pig's head off and put it on a stick somewhere. Like, that's got to be on my wall. Like, you don't get to scare me like that and not become a trophy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And we got them out here. I mean, they're big out here too.
Yeah. Well, if we ever get the hankering to shoot some pig, maybe we'll give you a call up and you can hook us up down there with we'll help you guys out. I know they're invasive and quite an issue. They haven't made their way up this far north, obviously, yet, but
there's another problem now. There was some dude, at least last I heard, there was some dude in Houston who had African warthogs, and they got out and started breeding with the wild pigs and the razorbacks and other things that are out there. So now there's some crazy monster pigs down south. Maybe it's rumor, but that's what I've heard.
Well, let's go get them. Monster pigs. Here we go.
So we're talking,
as long as you're bringing your sidearm and your bow
and your hatchet.
Happened.
The hatchet.
Yeah, your hatchet. That's right. Yeah.
So we're talking, when you say like African warthog pig here, you're talking like Timon and like Pumbaa.
Like Pumbaa.
Lion pig.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Man. Wow.
Yeah, some dude had like 12 of them and they all got out.
Awesome.
Dang.
Invasive species, man.
School us Northerners a little bit about what the hunting scene in Texas is like. I feel like the perception I have is like mostly ranch. What's the public land scene like? How is it? Like, where do you go to hunt? Is there a lot of access? Not a lot? What's
So
that like down
you'd
there?
think with the landmass that Texas has that there would be a lot of public land. At least up here in the Fort Worth area, there's not a whole lot. There's a couple big parks, but everybody knows about them. Everybody goes there, and that's again the reason I got into archery was I figured not many people would be willing to put in the work, and it proved to be true, right? So camping out at deer camp before opening day, we made some friends out there. It's always the same guys, it's the same 4 dudes, and it's our like we have that spot, they have their spot right next to us, and it's good. General season is pure chaos. Pure chaos to the point where I got shot at 3 times the same day last year. Ended my day, ended my hunt, and it's dudes that kind of don't really follow the rules. They don't follow any kind of code. They're just like, let's just slap 4 of our cousins or all of our cousins in this truck and just hands across America and just push the deer dangerously. They'll just shoot at anything that moves. And then a little bit further west of here, there's the LBJ grasslands, and that is where I like to hunt. It's more transitional. There's a lot of prairie, a lot of field, but there's also some old growth, oak, a couple pine trees. We got a place we call Jurassic Park that looks like Jurassic Park. It's crazy. We've seen some big deer out there, some big doe, but again, hunting public and being fairly new to it, I'm learning that you got to go where you don't think the deer are, because that's where the other public hunters aren't going to be. Because I think I had 5 or 6 hunts ruined by other folks just mucking up an area, or crossbow hunters coming in at 5:30 thinking they're going to get a quick kill and then get out. I've been sitting in that tree since 2:30 in the afternoon, bud. Like, thanks. And again, it's public land, so people are using it for wedding photos. They're using it for all kinds of other stuff, and I can't really be too mad about it. It's there for the public, but I'm learning that you have to go deep. You have to go deep and just go where you don't think other people are going to be.
Can you tell us? I mean, because there's certainly the same things that happen on public land everywhere, right? But can you tell us like a success story you have from hunting?
I can tell you about a failure that I have.
Okay, that's fine too. That's fine.
Keeping it average, Johnny. Come on.
Yeah.
Just tell us what you want.
I had just gotten into saddle hunting. I had been doing a self climber, like just a trashy self climber.
Yep.
Those things are terrifying.
Dude, I almost ripped my finger off with one of those one time.
I had my bottom, like my actual foot pad, my foot plate fall out from under me. And I was like 25 feet up. I had to shimmy my way down the tree.
That's crazy.
The failure I had, I'm still trying to connect the dots on successes. Right now, my wife's the only one who's filled my freezer recently. But I learned that I can't shoot my weak side on the saddle, right? Like I had 3 doe within like a 10-yard shot, and they were all on my right side. And I had no idea how that I could, shift around the tree or throw the tether over my shoulder and turn around on them. I was able to I drew down on the one, and it was such a weird shot that I couldn't get my peep lined up. And so I just kind of sent it home and let it down, and they bolted. And then every opportunity I had this year was with young bucks. And that's back to your question about the vibe in Texas hunting. Public land is weird because every county has a different restriction on antlers, right? So like you have to be able to gauge, 13 and a half inches inside spread, but they don't tell you where to measure from. And by the way, I don't have a scope, buddy. I'm on a bow, so I'm just making a guesstimation here, and it's a $350 ticket if you're wrong. And so a lot of folks go down to like the big ranches, like Sierra Mesa, a couple other ranches. They've got massive, massive bucks out there. They're all, high fence ranch.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna pay for it. I'd love to go down, but nah, man. I've already dumped way more than I need to into my hunting gear. I need to start recouping funds through kills,
I think something cool then, if you're still waiting for the big success story, you need to keep us posted. I would love to hear the success story when it happens, because I'm gathering from this conversation that you're not a guy that's going to stop.
Nope.
It's going to happen. So I would love to hear that story when it does.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, last season I was out. Okay, I burned a week of paternity leave just to go hunt for the entire week. My wife was chill with it. Like,
that's how I know your wife is a hunter, right there, by that thing you just said.
Man,
she gets it.
She went on a hunt when the baby was 3 months old, and she just did an overnight race. She went out, zeroed her gun with the girls, and then she was first up in the blind, and they got her out in the blind early morning. She's sitting there like pumping breast milk, sees a deer, literally puts the pump down, grabs her granddad's 30-30, puts a hole in it, goes right back to pumping.
That's incredible.
My wife is a monster, dude. Like, I can't explain it.
That's amazing.
Dude,
that's amazing.
Fantastic.
So she's down with it, and I put in as much work as I could last year. I plan on doing more this year. Like, I've got game cams coming in. I know the area significantly better than I did before. You know, I had a little probably 800-yard block that I knew really well, but I know that whole property now. I know all of it. Right. So I've got areas that I want to go check out, areas where I know we've seen deer there. You know, towards the end of the season, we saw doe. We couldn't shoot them because it's bucks only back down that time. But no, the work is being put in. Like, that's I have a goal. Like, that's what I want to get done. Man. Yep.
Yeah, it'll happen. You got the right approach, and clearly it's gonna pan out.
I mean, honestly, that's probably what drew me to y'all's page and podcast in the first place. Is like, y'all are just giving advice on things, you're giving your context, and that's what I want. Again, that I try to research everything. I want every context I can get, you know?
Yeah. Appreciate that, man. What do you want to hear more of as a Huntxp community member, fan of the pod? What do you want to hear more of?
Like, I'm a big fan of failure. Everybody wants to talk about, you know, success story this, success story that, but like, I learn more through failure. I think most people actually do. Creative failures are even more funny. Like, I'm going to rag on my best friend right now. He's shot twice and he's missed twice. Once on a broadside doe that I let down on. I actually had her dead to rights, and I saw that he was drawn, and I was like, you know what? I'll let you go, buddy. Because we were hunting like maybe 60 yards apart, and she was right in between us, about 30 yards each. So he had a whisker biscuit at the time. He doesn't shoot with a whisker biscuit anymore. Sorry, buddy. I love you. But his arrow had sunk down into his whisker biscuit, and it wasn't sitting on the actual hairs.
Like off to the side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he shot, that arrow went right over her back.
And
then this past season, he missed a bobcat at like 25 yards. I'm pretty sure he dropped his bow arm, but he'll say he didn't. That's fine. But yeah, that bobcat ended up ruining one of my hunts the next weekend, actually. The same area.
Full circle.
Yep. So like, failures are fun to talk about too, though, because you get a rib on your buddies, but also, hey, what did you do different? What didn't you do differently this time? Where'd you make your mistake?
Yeah. So right before you hopped on, we were just talking about. I just finished my turkey season, and it's the first time in a long time that I was not successful in it. And we were talking about areas where we thought we messed up, what we should have done differently. And so, yeah, we talk about that all the time.
We got plenty of failure stories, man. We got more coming your way. Yeah. I'm sure.
I have left my release at home once. I also left my bow at home once.
That makes it difficult. That makes it really difficult. Did you have your hatchet? Did you have hatchet? Did you have your hatchet, though?
I did, yeah. But no, I actually drove back, got my bow, drove the 40 minutes back out, was able to get in my tree before sundown. Just didn't see anything. I'm pretty sure I boogered the area at the time.
That would have been a story. It is a great story, but would have been icing on. Nate, this has been so fun, man.
Yeah, man.
We really appreciate your time. We appreciate this growing community that's developing around just mostly two dudes having fun. Glad that you're getting some value from it, and we have now gotten some value from you. So thank you.
Absolutely.
For
cheers, guys.
To the pod, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and stay in touch, dudes. Like, seriously, I'm posting dumb stuff, but usually it's part of my journey. So if you guys want to stick in touch with that, that's what I'm doing, is I'm posting all of my journey things.
Yeah. If you don't follow Nate yet, Aggressively Average Outdoors on Instagram, go ahead and do that right now. It would be awesome. And we'll be watching, man. Let us know. Text us.
The name's so cool that we literally were like, we have to have this guy on the pod.
Have to have one.
That reaction.
Yeah. So good. We want to be on the BBD text. That's the outcome of this conversation.
Okay, I got you on that.
On the BBD text. Hit us up, man.
I got you on that.
Well, dude, appreciate it. It was fun to have you here, man.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Behind the scenes bonus banter.
Okay.
Let me show you something. I have a giant taste bud.
You have a giant taste bud?
Yeah, a really big.
Wow. Yeah, right under there. I see that. What kind of taste do you taste with that giant taste bud?
Nothing.
Okay.
It's normal.
All right, bud. Love you.
It's just a sore taste bud.
A swollen taste bud. Yeah. All right. Love you, dude. Bye.
Dude, that clip right there could go viral.
He's
That was
always wanted to
amazing.
be on. They asked me just like your kids, when am I going to be on the podcast, Dad? No, Jesse's favorite question is, am I going to be on the Huntxp team? And I'm like, dude, you are. You're on the team. And he's like,
You've made it.
I don't think so.
He's like, I don't feel like it.
I feel like you're just saying nice things.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, dude. Let's do this episode.
Let's do it.
I got some fun stuff to show you.
Wow.
Yeah, and I want to hear about your turkey season. Sweet. I'll pray. Jesus, you're the best. Thank you for this privilege. Help our minds to be sharp. Help us just to receive these two guests well and draw out of them your image and who you've created them to be. And may it be a bonus to both of them and to us. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Welcome.
Sorry. I didn't know what you were doing, so I did it too. I did the same thing you did.
You're like, whatever that means. Love it. False start. For some reason, I thought of the draft when I said that. I don't know if you have any opinions on the draft. Were you paying attention to the Packers draft or no?
Paid attention to the first round. I watched the first round, yeah.
Golden?
We'll see, man. We'll see.
Mr. Golden?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Sure, why not?
His suit was very golden.
I think he knew he was getting picked.
I would say so.
I think he knew.
Yeah.
I think they had him. Here we go. It was good. Anything else you want to add to that before we jump on to Nathan?
No.
Or Nate?
You'll definitely have some stories, and I hope you get a bird. I hope you get a cool video out of it too.
Yeah, what's great about that is we often hunt in pairs or triads, and you can just be like, you're the camera guy. I think what we'll do is we'll like flip a coin or something when we go in, because I don't care about running the camera or the gun. Either way, just capturing a sweet hunt is what's fun about it.
I'll have to look through. I did have my camera set up, my actual video camera set up, and on one of those birds, and he never came within like 60. And there was one time, and I haven't watched any of the footage of it, but I just set the tripod up and I kept moving towards him because I was able to with the terrain and so I think if I can imagine what it looks like, I bet you it's me like going tree to tree and getting like 80 yards away from the camera, but I think I'm still in frame probably. And this bird kept hammering back, and I've got videos of him like at 80 yards away going through the trees and losing his mind, just gobbling. So I'll have to look at it. They could be cool clips, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think any of that. I've been using them a lot in shorts. Like I want more turkey footage for when we're talking about this stuff, just to throw and that stuff in there. So let me message him.
He was with a hen though. It was one of those things. They just kept. That was my luck all season. I couldn't find a solo bird hardly.
Really?
Yeah. Like the week before when Jude shot his solo Tom, we just called him across from so far away. Didn't care. But I couldn't find a bird that was alone. I want to ask this, Nate, like what was going through your mind when you listened to the clip of us geeking out over your name? Were you like, these guys are losers? Or like, what were you thinking?
These guys are weird.
Yeah.
Well, he seems like a cool guy. I think he's got it here.
It is.
Yo, what's up, guys?
There he is. What's up, man?
How's it going, dudes?
Good.
It's going good.
Good.
Going really good.
This is fun, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at this. From Instagram to real life podcast. Here we go.
Man, you guys have such a good vibe that I couldn't not reach out and try and get this to go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
That mustache, bud.
Thanks. I like yours. I love it.
I got some catch up to play for sure. You feel good about the tech and stuff? Sound good, look good. Can you hear us? Everything?
I got you guys loud and clear, man. Yeah.
Wonderful,
awesome.
Dude. Well, we will dive into it.
Here for a good time, not for a long time, so I just figured we'll wing it.
Yes,
Perfect.
dude.
Perfect. You're
I can
just
tell
you're,
already. We're gonna have some great one-liners
yeah,
here.
this is good. I'm loving it already.
Hey there, thanks for watching this video. I'm JD, founder and crew member of the Huntxp team. We're so grateful that you took time to watch this video, and hopefully it's helping you level up your hunting game. That's what we and our community is all about, and we want to invite you into this growing community of hunters that's all about leveling up each other's hunting game. So the first thing you can do is like and subscribe, but even more than that, we got some fun things going on over at our website, huntxp.com. We'd love for you to join our community there and stay connected with what we're doing, what we're working on, and we'd love to hear about what you're after. So thank you for watching this video. We'll see you next time.